Hello friends and welcome to the channel. My name is Amir and I'm a 5th-year architecture student at the London School of Architecture, and in this video I'm going to discuss why you have to educate yourself about smart contracts while everyone else is talking about NFTs, especially if you're a designer or work in any kind of creative field, because this technology can completely change your profession. So if you want to learn more about smart contracts and how they can be used in interesting ways, keep watching the video. I'm sure you'll be as excited as I am by the end of it. So let's start with a brief introduction to each of these ideas. If you already know about NFTs, blockchains, and smart contracts, you can skip this part of the video. But if you don't, I'm going to explain them in very simple terms so everyone can understand them. So what is an NFT and how does it work? NFT in very simple terms is a way to own digital assets. In real life, if you want to own something important like a house, you pay the money for it and then you hire a lawyer to do the paperwork so that you can prove that the house is yours. In the digital world, NFTs use a very safe and reliable technology called blockchain to show that someone owns a digital asset. So now what is blockchain? Blockchain is a trustless system that records the data on a public ledger, which is verified by millions of computers around the world. Imagine I give you £10 and we write in a ledger that I gave you £10 and the ledger is verified by millions of computers. You can't basically cheat and change the ledger to say I have gave you £100, since it has been verified by many computers and you have to convince each computer that I have gave you £100 instead of 10. This system is used to keep track of who basically owns NFTs. Suppose I buy a digital art from an artist who is well known. When I do this, the blockchain shows in a public and transparent ledger that I have bought the art piece. In that sense, a full history of each asset is available to see by anyone and any time, all the way from the first time that they have been minted in a blockchain system to details of all transactions. Now that we have understood the concept behind the NFTs and blockchain, let's talk about the most exciting part of this video, which is all about smart contracts. So what is a smart contract? As the name suggests, smart contracts are contracts that are more technologically advanced than our normal contracts. There are two things that makes them very special. First, that they are formed on a blockchain technology, which makes them trustless, without any need for a third party to oversee, validate, or execute the contract. And two, they are written in code, so basically they are programs. This factor allows them to become very complex and sophisticated, in a way which we cannot write in our conventional contracts. To give an example, imagine I want to write a contract where I want to give you an incentive to use your bike instead of your car. And I say for each journey that you ride on your bike instead of using your car, I will give you like £5. Now, if we were to execute this contract in real life, I would have to either trust you completely that you tell me the truth, or I had to hire someone to witness you riding your bike, which creates an extra hassle. And at the end, I had to manually transfer £5 from my own bank to your bank. But with smart contracts, I can write a program which tracks your fitness data from your phone whenever you were on a journey and identify whether you are on a bike or a car. And then I tell the program that in the case that you were actually riding your bike, transfer £5 from my bank to your bank account automatically, and I never had to deal with this again myself, and I wouldn't also have any trust issues anymore. But obviously this is a very simple example of how smart contracts can come to our help, but I want to give an example of how this technology could actually even change the way we govern our cities, like change the way we fund our great infrastructure projects. There's a really interesting case study done collaboratively by Dark Matter Labs and Center for Spatial Technologies, which argues basically how we could potentially fund the $187 million New York Highline project by using the value that the project generates itself in its neighborhood, instead of using the public money for it. If you think about it, many of our public infrastructure, which are mostly funded by public money, bring massive values to private lands and properties around it. Imagine paying for something which someone else takes the financial benefit from. Obviously, public infrastructures like parks, bridges, railways, etc. are going to have some sort of benefit for all individuals living in the city, in one way or another. They also usually add massive values to private lands in their adjacencies. In New York Highline case, if you map the uplift in value of the adjacent private properties up to 3 kilometers, this is how it will look. You can see how the properties closest to the project increased 207% in average by the time that project finished in 2018, meaning that the nearby private properties in 500-meter proximity to the project collectively uplifted around $13 billion above Manhattan's average inflation rate, which we can call it was the value that the Highline project brought into the neighborhood. What if we could take only a small portion of this chunk of money to fund the actual project itself? Let's say only 10% of the value which the project itself brought to the land. Obviously, this doesn't mean that the landowners are forced to dedicate a portion of their land value to the project, but the whole infrastructure system could be community-led instead. For example, if communities get to vote for a proposed infrastructure in their neighborhood, to have a say in what happens in their proximity and invest in their own infrastructure, by their uplift in land value to both benefit financially from the project, but also to contribute to a wider positive impact in their own community. As you can see, smart contracts can be very helpful in how we can deliver the infrastructural change which we need to build a better system of urban governance. Now, smart contracts can be used in many ways and they can be very appealing to designers and artists as well. I will make a video about how Pac, a famous crypto artist, uses smart contracts to produce work which has been making him over $100 million so far, and also how you can use smart contracts as designers in any field, especially in architecture. I hope this video has helped you to understand the possibilities of using smart contracts, and I hope I have been successful to make you interested about them. Please do consider subscribing to the channel, as I will be posting more videos on the use cases of smart contracts and blockchain technology for us as designers, and like the video if it has been useful to you. I hope you have a great rest of the day and see you in the next video.